We were like, no, it's an hour early. No, we don't have the password. What the heck's going on? Everyone was very cool. I have to give them
Yeah,
credit.
okay. All right, so let's get started. Let's get started. So welcome everybody. Thank you for taking time out of your Saturday and your family to be here to see what comes up and see what we can jump out of you. As I was telling everybody, is that right now has been a very interesting time with the movement of energy. It seems like the very last of the things are coming up, and a big one has been to move. I don't know if everybody's seen my updates, but a big one has been to move people out of an area that we call the underworld or Azazel. Sienna, you call it the shadow world. It's whatever you want to call it, whatever is working in your wheelhouse. That's what you call it. And that's what it is. But I've been finding a lot of people with big thing is let's say you have a heart problem. Well, the heart template may be in that underworld, Azazel shadow world area. We've been, moving everybody out, moving them out, reconnecting with the template, doing all kinds of stuff like that, and getting some interesting results. Instead of doing 10 sessions, you do 2 sessions, and you get a lot more out of it. But the dark side is definitely losing its ground, and we more so I think we're just rising more above it and learning more about them, infiltrating their secrets and going in that regard. So why don't we get started? So again, Sienna, the concept here is to get everybody out of that dark place and put them in a place of healing. I'm going to be shifting into
We were
sort
working a lot on timelines, and
of
I'm seeing
timelines. Yes.
it as a timeline shift. That's why I wanted to do this, because I think that you have the power to remove some hooks from that hell zone, and it just resonated in me as absolutely
Yeah,
essential.
exactly, and that's the timeline thing has been very interesting. I've run into a few people who have shared stories with me about all of a sudden, one person in Winnipeg calls it bilocation, where all of a sudden you're here and all of a sudden you're there. She was going to be in a car accident. All of a sudden, the car just went right through her. And the guy stopped his car and he got out of his car and he's like, "What just happened?" And she yelled out some profanities and took off and started. And then of course, Shauki has a lot of her own stories that, oh, okay, Jiminy's here. Okay, any stragglers? We're going to get
Have
going.
about timelines.
Okay.
That may be another discussion,
So, so,
but
so
that's amazing. So she just wasn't on the timeline anymore, where that accident injured or took her out, and so we couldn't. That's really amazing.
Yeah, and these are all close personal friends of mine who are. This is not third, fourth, it's telling of the story. This is, close personal friends I've known for a long time, and we're discussing things and saying, oh yeah, that happened to me many times. All of a sudden, this, and it's very interesting in its own right. And one of the messages I get about this type of thing is kind of a mermaid kind of energy, which would certainly lead to maybe an Atlantean type of phenomenon, but we haven't gone there yet. Suppose that we might go there as
Hmm.
time goes by, as it does.
Well, Franja has just put in the chat box. I don't know if you look at the chat boxes, which
Yeah.
you do, but she said that she heard rumor on the street is that you detach people from black goo, and if you do, uh, detach us. She
Yeah.
said.
What we're, the black goo, my mentor, Wayne, who does all the ley line clearing, all the earth grid clearings, he's, I call him up and says, Wayne, I'm starting finding black goo. He says, yeah, we just cleared it out. And what black goo turns up being is a type of spell. Okay, it's not a gooey black goo that you pour out of a bucket, and it's it's kind of a spell, kind of a, let's say a vehicle for a spell or something of that nature. It hasn't come up a terrible much with it, but ultimately the spell phenomenon is the big one. Now, Sienna, you sent me that video, and I started looking at it before I took my family skating this afternoon. It's like, okay, this is a different spin on things. This is some clarification on certain levels, and it's certainly opening a door. I think that portal was open a long time before it was opened again in the 40s, but doesn't matter. We're learning more. We're getting more information as time goes on, and it's very quick information too. So let's get started. Let's look at the whole group and see what we got to do to turn on some lights. Okay.
Wonderful.
We're closing the door to the bus. The bus is now rolling.
Okay. And
Okay.
Loki has something in the chat box, but when that may not.
Oh, when doesn't Shoki have something to say?
Okay. Didn't know that.
Okay, let's see. What, okay, for the group, what problem do we need to work on, please? Truth of source. What problem for the group?
And anyone who came in late, this is recorded, so, and you will get the replay, so you can hear the first little talk, which was kind of
Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to untie the souls of the group from
yay.
Entities, spells of. Okay, this is new, this is interesting, this is just in. Here we go. All right, let's use ruthenium to untie, lift and remove the souls of everybody in the group from all dimensional entities, third dimension spells. Untie, unlock, lift and remove everyone's soul from the entity's third dimension spells. All spells of the third dimension, false. Unsay and undo all spells of the third dimension. Unsay and undo all dimensional entities, spells of the third dimension. Unsay and undo all of the dimensional entities, spells of the third dimension. Completely unsay and undo the dimensional entities, spells of the third dimension. Okay, that is certainly moving, certainly moving. Unsay and undo. Okay, that is lifting off. Okay, now let's go into this everyone's soul and neutralize all of the manifestations of the spells. Completely neutralize the manifestations of the dimensional entities' spells. Completely neutralize, dissolve all the manifestations of the dimensional entities' spells. Okay, that is slowly lifting off. Are people feeling some movement? Dusty, what are you feeling?
I feel a lot of energy flowing. And then I almost felt really tired too, but it was happening.
Yeah, those are all good signs. Those are good signs. All right, let's see. Okay, what problem now for the group? What problem? Yeah, that was interesting. I've never seen that before. There's been a lot of that. All this new things, nuances of new things. Okay, now problem is, all right, we're going to pay attention to stress within. Okay, now within everybody's soul, post-traumatic stress from the spells false. Post-traumatic stress from the dimensional entities spells false. Post-traumatic stress false. Post-traumatic stress, false. Post-traumatic stress, false. Okay, post-traumatic stress is lifting now into everyone's soul. Vortex of pure source love, true. Vortex of pure source love, true. Vortex of pure source love. All right, anytime you remove post-traumatic stress, you always put some love back in so you feel a lot better. Betty, what are you feeling?
I felt quite a lot of movement when you were removing the PTSD. And now when you added the source love, I just felt like a rippling from the heart. So that's cool.
Beautiful. Emma, how about you, dear?
I'm good. I'm feeling a lot of energy movement all through my body. Yeah.
Beauty, dear. Okay. Let's keep going. What problem now within the group? What problem? Okay, again, we're going to pay attention to the All right, mind control. Mind control. Okay, hold on. The sending of mind control is from under the ice of the South Pole. Okay. Find is vortex of mind control within. Okay, let's do this within everyone's skull. The mind control from the South Pole vortex. The vortex of mind control from the South Pole, false. From everyone's skull. The vortex of mind control from the South Pole, false. Completely dissolve. Neutralize the vortex of mind control directed from the South Pole. A lot of stuff happening in the South Pole, apparently. More than just penguins. Maybe it's the penguins doing it. Oh my goodness, there we go. It's the penguins. Just kidding.
Right.
Within everyone's skull, vortex of mind control, false. Vortex of mind control. Okay, that is gone. That is lifted. Now what we found, the portal that is in the Babylon portal, that's allowing the interdimensionals to come in. I asked about it. I watched a bit of the movie, and so I asked Source about it, and they said, don't worry about that. Worry about the power source. So I says, okay, where's the power source? There's a large Tesla coil at the South Pole that is giving this thing power to stay open. It needs power, and that's where it's coming from. So we close that off. I have a colleague in California. We worked together to get this thing shut down. So we're going to see, of course, that's going to create some ripple effect of other things too. Now, all of a sudden the doors closed, nobody can get out. It's like first you got to pay your bill, then you can get out. Okay, let's see. Now within the group, what is next, please? Okay. Okay. A problem now within the group. Problem is, okay, vortex of, look at this, okay, third dimension within the, okay, within everyone's soul. Third dimension vortex, false. Ruthenium, perpetually neutralize and dissolve the vortex of the third dimension within and around everyone's soul. Vortex of the third dimension, false. Vortex of the third dimension, false. Now, the interesting thing here is that I haven't really addressed any kind of dimensions for quite a while. It's been years. And all of a sudden, dimensions are coming up. Neutralize all third dimension vortexes within and around everyone's soul. Okay, those vortexes are lifted. And what is next, please, for the group? Problem is, okay, worst problem of third dimension vortex is within, okay, within and around everyone's entire body, entire self and entire body, third dimension vortexes, false. Ruthenium completely neutralize and dissolve third dimension vortexes within and around the group's entire body and entire self. Third dimension vortexes, false. Third dimension vortexes are lifted. Okay, Emma, what are you feeling, my dear?
I am feeling lots of energy swirling around my head, being lifted from my head and shoulders. Yeah, it's intense.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so things are moving. Good. Thank you for that, Emma. It's always like hearing feedback, knowing that something is happening, something is working. It's always works. All right. Let's see what is next for the group, please. Okay, now is until South Pole is lifted. Send okay. Problem now within the group is, okay, vortex of third dimension is within there we go. Now we're getting higher. Okay, within and around everyone's higher self. Third dimension vortexes, false. Third dimension vortexes, false. Third dimension vortexes, false. Ruthenium completely neutralized the third dimension vortexes within and around everyone's higher self. Third dimension vortexes, false. Third dimension vortexes, false. Third dimension vortexes. Okay, those are lifted. Those are lifted. Everybody's asking me to hurry up and get Donald Trump impeached. I says, oh, we got more important things to do. We just got rid of Don Cherry. So we're not worried about Donald Trump right now.
Who's Don Cherry?
Who's Don Cherry?
I'm sorry.
He was a hockey announcer for 40 years on a hockey night in Canada, and he'd say a lot of really off the cuff things. And was it last weekend he mentioned something about all you people, you come to our country and you want our milk and honey, but you won't wear a poppy, you know, come on and wear, you know, and it was very, you know, borderline racist. And there's so many comments from fans that wrote into Sportsnet that they had to fire him after 40 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Just a little slip of the tongue and you lost your job.
Wow.
He's always been very, a lot of macho-ness to him, a lot of, you know, rude comments about this and that. Very, very, you know, he's a person who speaks his mind, and I think people really like that. But that one comment just was a little too much, But that was a joke, and I digress. Okay, what problem now within the group, please?
You think you're going to douse to get political figures out of office? Really?
I have people asking me to do that. It's like, no, that ain't my gig. We're not going there. For all we know, Donald Trump is the one who's going to be bringing forward a lot of truth about things. I mean, you know, we've got the Jeffrey Epstein thing that is blown up, and that's just the tip of the iceberg with all that. But you know, there's still the things with 9/11. There's still all these different things that truth needs to be brought forward. And you know, if they oust him, then he just might say, "Okay, guys, I got all this information. Let's throw shit at the fan."
He is a salty old dog. He is not going to go down without a fight, man.
And it's going to be a fun fight to watch.
Yeah, he's just the medicine American needs. They hate him.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
We got him for a reason.
I mean, politics.
He's obnoxious. I actually am just adoring the man nowadays.
Yeah, you either love him or hate him, I guess. I don't know.
There doesn't seem much in between with Donald Trump.
No. Okay, let's see. What problem now for the group? Problem is, okay, the worst problem of third dimension vortexes is okay, mind control signals are in hot topic of strong vortex of source is now within the soul, the higher self. So everybody's got a nice vortex of source going on right now. If you're feeling kind of, there's a source vortex happening. We got rid of a bad thing, a good thing comes in, okay? What is next, please, for the group?
Yeah, I'm really glad you're addressing this mind control, because I could feel it. We've approached it from a number of angles, but that is stubborn stuff, man. You have to have the talent for taking specific things out.
Okay, from the temples of everyone's brain, the temples, mind control and mind control signals from the South Pole, false. Mind control and mind control signals from the South Pole, from everybody's temples of the brain, false. Ruthenium perpetually block, deflect, and neutralize mind control signals from everyone's temples. Mind control signals false. Perpetually block, deflect, and neutralize all of the mind control signals from the South Pole to everyone's temples in the brain. Okay, so now the concept here, MK Ultra, meaning mind control, from the Nazis. Apparently, all the Nazis after the war went to Antarctica, and they called it New Schwabenland, and they set up a lot of operations there. And I think they've learned how to manipulate that Tesla coil. So we'll take a trip to Antarctica and see what's going on, shall we?
Yes, I think we should fundraise to send you there on a cruise.
No, I thought you would go, Sienna. It's.
You know what? I'm so pissed off now. I probably would.
Yeah. I think Shoki would like to get out of the house for a little while.
There you go. The three of us. We'd be quite the team.
Yeah, bring a bottle of whiskey along with us. It's all good. Okay, now let's go this way. What question is up? I like to let things settle in a little bit, so we talk a little bit in between and just let things settle, and then we go again. Okay, what question now for the group? What question? So again, interesting, the word third dimension is coming up, these vortexes, mind control coming up. All things that are in my charts and in my consciousness, but are just never present, but all of a sudden now they are. So this, again, an interesting.
Really interesting, because I've always been working with the fourth dimension to remove entities. So this is pretty.
Well, you know what? There's a lot of different concept about the dimensions and the number and whatnot. I don't think we have to worry about the number. I think we just have to be concerned with getting out of this one, whatever it is. So if we're going to call it third dimension, that's what we're going to name it. But
what we're living, basically.
Yeah. I mean, Kent Dunn likes to say, oh, we're all going into the fourth dimension. We're all going 4D. I don't agree with that. I don't disagree with that. All I know is I just do what I'm told here, and that's all I follow. And it seems to do very well for me. So the dimension thing, you know, numbers, I don't know if we really want to give it a number, but our little monkey brains always need to identify things. Okay, now,
Yeah, that's for sure.
where is the most resistance within the group?
Resistance in my group.
Resistance. That's just a way to form the question.
No, believe me, it's perfectly fine.
Okay. Okay, let's look here. Where is the most resistance? Okay, now we're going to go into timelines. Here we go.
Oh, excellent.
Okay, now what is, okay, timelines, what problem within the group? Problem is timeline of third dimension is within the okay, hold on again. Okay, again, problem is the timeline of third dimension is within Azazel. Okay. Let's work on the underworld in Azazel and neutralize the third dimension timeline. From Azazel and the underworld, third dimension timeline false. Third dimension timeline false. Ruthenium perpetually neutralize, dissolve the third dimension timeline from Azazel, the underworld, and the shadow world. Third dimension timeline false. Third dimension timeline. This is a strong one. Third dimension timeline false. Third dimension timeline false. Third dimension timeline from Azazel, the underworld, the shadow world, false. Wow, this is a lot of energy moving. Within Azazel, the underworld, the shadow world, third dimension timeline, false. And that is still lifting. There we go. All right. Who felt some movement with that?
I did, sure.
Definitely, definitely. Okay, that was very significant in the fact that we've been pulling people out of Azazel, the underworld, shadow world. So now we're clearing out that underworld of that low level vibration, the third dimension. Interesting. Okay, sometimes Source takes us for a real nice ride.
Created these timelines of hell where everything pretty much goes to hell, where no matter what you do, you end up back in hell.
Well, that's the
Harvesting
thing.
energy. I mean, it works for them, just doesn't work for us.
Well, yeah, and that's how they continue to feed off of our energy. I
Right.
always get the message a reptilian is sipping on your soul. It's like they're feeding off of our soul, and there's always a vortex of them. Like they would use the word ceiling fan of reptilians. One comes in and feeds, goes off, the other one comes in and feeds. Then they'll create a situation where you have a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, something happens, and you react to it, and that's when they feed. All right, they love that energy, just like some of the elites, like the adrenochrome type of thing.
Right.
They want that certain energy. They want to put fear in that person before they take the blood out, so that the adrenaline is in the blood, and they drink it, and it's like, woohoo, boy, am I big and strong now, right? I'm Popeye.
Yeah.
Sick people out there. All right. Okay, let's do that one again. That gave us some good result. What question now for the group, please? The question for the group.
So this can also trigger illness, right, in the body. This can
Well,
trigger
100%, yes.
This can. The whole thing is a frequency that lowers the immune system.
It lowers the vibration of our bodies, so we stay in that 3D, right?
Function right, and one thing after another keeps
Yeah.
popping out because the frequency doesn't allow, and they keep switching it. It seems it's like we cure this, then it's over there, and then we cure that, and it's over there. Is this all part of that?
It is. It's again. It's the concept here is for this Azazel underworld, shadow world place, and everything that resides in it to lower our vibration so we don't ascend. They don't want us to ascend. Then there goes their meal ticket. Okay. Then there goes their control. They're all about control. Okay. So I'm going to ask a question here. It's in my charts that doesn't ever really come up. So this is significant. So we're going to ask, within the group, where is the weakest link? Where is the weakest link?
Wow.
Where is the weakest link? Where is the weakest link? All right. Now, within the nervous system, where is the weakest link? In the nervous system, where is the weakest link? Where is the weakest link? Where is the weakest link? Okay, so we're gonna call it the brain, or the weakest link is the brain.
Mm.
Okay, so what problem? What problem in the brain? What problem for the group? The weakest link. The problem is the underworlds. Underworlds. Okay. More so problem in the brain is to remove. There we go. From everyone's brain, from everyone's brain, Draco Kundalini false. Ruthenium, please stop and remove the Draco Kundalini from everyone's brain. Draco Kundalini false. Draco Kundalini false. From everyone's brain, Draco Kundalini false. Draco Kundalini false. Ruthenium perpetually end and remove the Draco Kundalini from everyone's brain. Draco Kundalini false. Draco Kundalini false. Completely neutralize, lift, perpetually dissolve the Draco Kundalini from everyone's brain. Again, this is a big one. Draco Kundalini false. Lots of movement, lots of movement. Draco Kundalini false. Draco Kundalini false. Wow. Draco Kundalini false. Beautiful. There we go. Who's feeling stuff?
Now we've removed the snakes from the Kundalini, but this is something different and
Yeah.
just its brain. That's pretty interesting.
We're just getting rid of the Kundalini. Kundalini is a bad thing, okay? Chakra system's not a good thing either.
Yeah.
Shelky says, yay. I love you, Shelky. You make me laugh. Okay, let's see. What question is now optimal for the group?
Oh, that was a big one.
And that was the weakest link. So that was interesting to see that. Okay, what problem now for the group? Next is, okay, now the growth of the souls is now in source. Okay, it is the higher self of source is, okay, so you all now have the higher self of source, okay? Higher self of source,
They
what?
actually mutated our higher selves in this control grid.
Yeah,
So the higher self wasn't giving us the right messages.
well, it was working at a low level of vibration. It wasn't Azazel, right? It was in that dark place.
Higher self. Wow.
Yeah, so now the higher self is a higher self. Much higher self. Let's call it the better self.
Really interesting. That's the one that should be creating our timelines.
Now, what is next? Okay, let's neutralize everybody out. So all the clearings that we just did, washed our hands, we're now going to rinse off our hands. So if everybody could stand, please. Look at that. I can make everybody stand with one request. Beautiful. All right. Place a 9-inch gold neutralization ring between everyone's feet to remove all residue. So this is going to take about 3 or 4 minutes. Everyone should all of a sudden feel very heavy, possibly off balance, as if something is pushing you forward, backward, side to side. We'll give that one 2 more minutes. All right, everybody, have a seat. We are finished. Is everybody feeling ascended? Emma, tell me something.
Oh, considering I've like I say, I've had a couple of sessions with you now, one in a group and private. That was really intense. I mean, when you were removing stuff from the brain, I could literally feel a hand just like, you know, pulling stuff out of my third eye, and it was, and yeah, just so much energy moving through me, around me, all different kinds of feelings, like some were sparkles, some were prickly, some was electric, and like I say, some was this pulling out. And yeah, that was pretty intense. I think the one as well, the underworld, the underworld, hang on. Yeah, you were doing the timelines with Azazel. I actually felt quite sick.
Okay, that's always a good sign that things are vortexing out. The nausea, the all of a sudden real tired, those are all signs that we've just really made a very big impact on you. So that's good. That's good. Betty, how about you? What did you feel?
I felt quite a lot of things, and several times I felt kind of that spiky energy when you were removing. So it was really, really impactful that I wasn't conscious of that energy at all. So it's amazing that it was just there without me knowing it. So
beautiful, beautiful. So what I'm getting is that with this clearing that we did is basically going to prepare you for the next shift that comes around. Okay, so we've got certain alignments that happen. December 21st, the solstice is coming very quickly, according to my kids, not fast enough. But that in itself is going to be, I feel, a significant shift, and there'll be other shifts in between there, some minor ones to lead up to a bigger shift. So what we did today is going to prepare you. You're going to be ready to go through it at a much faster rate, much higher rate, and you should get more benefit out of it for sure. So that's where we're going to end it. Not going to go any further with that. This is certainly going to be significant for all of you. So all of the other things that you're doing for yourself, to other modalities that you're doing with Sienna, anything else that you're doing on your own, things are going to work much better now. It's certainly a leg up. Now, one thing to report is that all of my tools, I got a message yesterday that all the tools, the rings, everything, are now 10 times more powerful. So that tells me right there that we are going into a much higher vibrational rate that is certainly going to be more beneficial. Okay.
It's funny. I'm getting. We need you back in a month or so, and Franja just mentioned it too, because my guidance just said this. You know that there's something that we'd be ready maybe in a month. With there any chance?
We can certainly go there. You know what? I like you guys. You guys are very pleasant to work with, and very patient and accepting. So we can definitely do something in a month or so. When the time is right, we will schedule something and make it work. Okay.
Thank you so much, Chris. Really appreciate this. And there's somebody here that hasn't paid. I'm going to pay for him because he isn't in the system money-wise. So that will be coming right after.
It's all good, dear. It's all good. It's all good.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Good to see everybody again. Emma, I worked with pretty much all of you. Emma, Franja, I worked with. Shauki, I work with very often, and I love it. And it's nice to see all your faces again, and I'm very thankful that we can be here to help with this progression of shifting.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris.
It is my pleasure.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go throw my kids off the ceiling and throw them into a snowbank. I'm gonna go be dad for a while.
Okay.
Okay, everybody, take care.
Bye bye.
So this is recorded, so I'll make sure that you get a link for it, Sienna. Okay.
That would be excellent. Thank you.
All right. Ciao ciao. Ciao ciao.
Bye bye.
Love you, Shauki.
Bye.